hard-hitting sports in your face.
Alright, so what's the deal, folks? Welcome back to the channel. This is the #1 Miami Dolphin football channel on YouTube. Welcome to the channel. I am Isaiah, and welcome to Hard Hitting Sports. So I want to talk about the Miami Dolphin draft. Starting off in the first round, we took a wide receiver, which I was completely livid about. I don't like it. I still don't like it, and I won't like it until I see this dude put the pads on and get out there and be another AJ Green. If he goes and he's another AJ Green, I will be perfectly fine with it as long as our secondary is shored up. I came into this draft thinking we needed three things. We needed to address a couple things. One was the cornerback opposite Brent Grimes. I know people are saying, oh, we got Jamar Taylor and Will and all. Fuck all that. We had a chance to trade up and possibly get Trey Waynes, and I thought Trey Waynes and Brent Grimes would give people a lot of problems, and then we can go out there and we can find those later round cornerbacks to come in and fill in. Right? That didn't happen. We went and we got a receiver. Now, to understand why I don't like a receiver for the Miami Dolphins, you have to be a longtime Miami Dolphin fan. You have to see that we drafted Ted Ginn, didn't work. We drafted Yatil Green, stayed hurt. We brought in Brandon Marshall. That didn't really help us much. We went out and got Mike Wallace. That didn't help us much. So us going out and getting big-time receivers has not really worked. Where we have found receivers has been those later-round receivers, the guys who have really helped us. They haven't been the first-round picks. It's been guys like Chris Chambers. It's been guys like the guys who are unheralded out of college that have come in and helped this team if you really look at it. It's been those guys that flew under the radar. Even Jarvis Landry, I think he was a second-round draft pick last year. Not a first-round draft pick. I don't like first-round draft pick running backs, wide receivers for my phins. Historically, it has not fucking worked out. Even guys like Mark Clayton and Mark Duper, those guys were not first-round draft picks. They were late-round draft picks. The guys who have really helped this team, really helped us, they have never been high draft picks ever, and our high draft picks always seem to be bust coming out of the wide receiver position. Now we did get Ronnie Brown in the first round. He worked out from the running back position, but as far as the first round wide receivers, I always go crazy when that shit happens. We got a defensive tackle, kind of reminds me of Tim Bowens back in the days. Big run stopper up front. Put him next to Sue. It's gonna be nasty. I'm a defensive guy. If you haven't noticed this, you can watch 25 of my videos. I focus more on the defensive side of the football. So when I came into this draft, I was thinking cornerback, linebacker, guard, cornerback, linebacker, guard, and if running back, and if we had a chance, then we'd take another wide receiver, but not a wide receiver off the board first. We ended up getting Jamil Douglas, a guard. I like that, big guard, because Dallas Thomas is trash. That motherfucker is garbage. He is absolute trash, and I hope this Jamil Thomas is the guy who's coming in there to fill up for that. We got Bobby McCain, who's a corner, and I watched some of his film. He's 5'9". He runs a 4.5 40. He's not very physical, but he may be able to be a guy who can give us a nickel cornerback some return. He's very good on returns. If he gets his hands on the ball, he's heading for the end zone. So that I like, but in coverage, he's a little bit sketchy. I was watching some film on him in coverage, and it kind of made me cringe a little bit. I saw the BYU game where he was up against a guy who was obviously much bigger than him, but he fell down, got burnt. He was getting burnt before the fucking ball came out of the hands by a guy who's much bigger than him. So he's going to be a little project. Jay Ajayi, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, our running back. I like it. You put him back there. He does have issues with the knee. I'm praying that we don't have any problems, but there's a lot of guys who's come out of college and had some issues coming in and got to the pros, and it just worked out well. I mean, Frank Gore from the University of Miami was having knee problems in college and came out, and look at Frank Gore now. He's a fucking beast. The most interesting pick that we made the entire draft was Tony Lippett. Tony Lippett is a 6'2" cornerback slash wide receiver. Now, I'm praying that we are taking him to play corner and not wide receiver. He's 6'2". He's a big guy. I really like big corners. I like big corners because I don't like having my 5'9" corner on a 6'5" receiver or a 5'9" corner trying to match up against a big receiver. Like, Tony Lippett would be a guy who we can line up and say, okay, go guard Gronkowski. I would love that shit. If they're taking him to play wide receiver, I don't necessarily like the pick. I mean, but it is a 5th round pick, so who gives a fuck? But at 6'2", that size, Richard Sherman. That's the first thing that popped in my mind when I saw it. I was like, holy shit, did we just draft Richard Sherman? Because if you remember, Richard Sherman was a wide receiver in college, but he couldn't catch like this guy can. This guy can fucking catch. So if we're getting him to play fucking corner, I am ecstatic. I don't think we need any more wide receivers. With Juice and Jennings, and we got Cameron, and then we got Juice, Jennings, we got the kid that we just drafted, we got Rashard Matthews, and there's a couple other guys who can come in there. I just honestly, when you look at the playoffs last year, it definitely the Super Bowl. Name me a receiver on the Super Bowl teams. The teams were built around running the ball and defense, and I think that's something that we can hang our hat on. We can still continue to develop our young quarterback, but he doesn't throw the deep ball well enough right now. You know what I mean? So I mean, we got. Oh yeah, I forgot about Kenny Stills. So we got Kenny Stills, we got Juice, we got the new kid that we just drafted. We got Rashard Matthews, and we got Jennings. So I mean, I'm ecstatic about it. I would have liked to see us get a better cornerback earlier, like that first pick. If we could have traded up and got Waynes, put Waynes next to Grimes, that's nice. I like that. But that Tony Lippett, I'm just waiting to see what we're gonna use him as. Anyway, I'm gonna talk to you guys later because I've been talking for a long ass time, man. Peace.